Hopefully, I'm audible, right? Can somebody acknowledge that I'm audible? Because it's already 6:30, I can start right away. Yes, yes. Good evening. So, welcome you all for my session on DeFi, that is decentralized finance. So, in the earlier episodes, actually, this series is all about a comprehensive introduction to the Web3. So, I'll be conducting a couple of streams on this. So, in the first session, I talked about understanding Web3 application and use cases. Use cases means what is Web3 and why do you want to use that, and if you decide to use it, what are the ways in which you can use that. So they recorded the audio is available, I mean video is available here. Okay. In the second session, I talked about one of the applications of Web3 that's called DAO, that is decentralized autonomous organizations. It's a new kind of creating an organization where actually you don't have a very centralized authority. Every member has an equal right and possibility for equal contribution. Okay. So today I'll be talking about another important creation of the of the decentralized paradigm called DeFi. That is actually decentralized finance. So today I'll be talking like why do we need this and what are the qualities of this and how does it actually going to benefit us. So you can ask me any questions during the session. I'll go into the presentation mode now. So I'll be getting back to this after certain time after my presentation. Okay. So today in the third session, I'll be talking about the understanding of Web3. The third thing actually I'll learn all about DeFi, that is decentralized finance. Okay. So the executive summary of my session is this: decentralized finance is an umbrella term. That means you can use blockchain for different applications. One of them is actually decentralized finance. So decentralized finance is an umbrella term for financial application powered by blockchain technology. So remember this, blockchain technology is a very generic technology. That means it can be used for many applications. For example, when in 1970s and 80s relational database came into existence, it was actually thought as a generic database application. But for example, if you are running a college like us, then you can create a student database. Similarly, if Indian Railways is conducting using a database then it can create a passenger database or a trains database or a train table database. Similarly, if a banking application is using a database, it can create for all the account holders or the customers. So what it actually means is a database is a generic technology which it can be used for different purposes. Similarly, today you look at that, blockchain is also a technology which can be used for many applications. Okay. So for example, Indian government actually look at this link, blockchain.government.in. This is where actually Indian government is using for a blockchain for different purposes like land record management and all. So broadly speaking, blockchain can be used for a financial application or it can be a non-financial application like the Indian government using for different different cases. Anybody can actually visit this link and see what are the different applications for which actually the government is using blockchain. Okay, so today I'll be talking about that. And DeFi is one of the most important blockchain use cases. Use cases is the place where actually you can use. And industry has so far actually has listed about 16 important DeFi categories, which I will cover you in my presentation. Okay. So whenever a new technology comes, we should not be using it directly because just it's new. It is to be used to solve some of the problems that we are facing today. Today, we are using what we call centralized finance. That means, suppose you want to make any transaction, then you have to create a bank account and you can transfer money through a bank account or you can link that bank account to one of your mobile application and do that one. So this mode is actually called the centralized finance system. See, what are the problems? There are certain problems in this. So let me list here. Look here, the problem is current centralized banks are very expensive. Okay, so suppose for example, if you take a DD of say 10,000 rupees or say about 10,000 rupees in State Bank of India, it will cost you 50 rupees. Okay, and if you are using an ATM card for a certain number of limited withdrawals, they also charge you a lot of money. Or if you are using a checkbook, that will also cost you a lot. So now you may be wondering that, see, this year, the top 10 banks or 12 banks in India made, look at here, 66,000 crores rupees by just charging us. Okay. So you have a checkbook, they will charge you 125 rupees. If you are withdrawing from ATM, they will charge you this. And if you are sending a DD, they will charge you. And this is very expensive. Unless you are a common man who may not be using bank all the time except for your salaries and all, it doesn't matter. But if you are in a banking, if you are in a company or if you are in a bank, in an enterprise or a business, and if you are sending some 10 DD, 100 DDs every day, then it itself will become a costing factor. And you just compare here, Karnataka state government budget for the last year is actually 2,57,042 crores. And this amount actually represents 25% of that. So the summary is that the centralized finance today is actually very expensive. So how can I reduce the cost of this? The solution comes from the decentralized finance. Okay. So decentralized finance is a creation created on a blockchain. So why I'm interested in decentralized finance? Because it is going to reduce cost for me. In addition to that, it is also going to increase my options. Today, if you want to go for a loan, no, there are only few banks available. But if you go for a decentralized finance, then many institutions will be ready to pay you loan and all. Okay. So I'll be talking about introduction to DeFi, working and its advantages, use cases and application, and finally conclusion. So the summary is this: I have a problem. The problem is today's banking is very expensive. It will cost me to take a DD. It will cost me to take a checkbook. It will also cost me to make ATM withdrawal and all other things. So how do I solve this problem? So for that, actually, I use a blockchain technology. So let me start with the central idea. Okay, the central idea is decentralization. So if the banks are centralized today, how do I solve this problem? So blockchain gives you a P2P. Look at here, P2P network where there is no single participant user controls the transaction. Today, banks will control your transaction, because if I want to send 10 rupees to you, then I have to send a message through my banking app to you. So it will go to my database and get that money and come back. The power is distributed, whereas actually in a decentralized banking application, the blockchain P2P, there is no single authority. That means I and you directly talk to each other and make the transaction. The power is distributed among all the participants. Today, I and you are not powerful in a bank. It is the State Bank of India is powerful. I and you are not powerful. It is the Karnataka Bank is powerful. But that power is distributed in a decentralization. Okay. And now actually, secondly, it also means that no single stakeholder can actually close the bank. Probably you know that many banks actually go bankrupt. So anybody who's having money in that will get into a lot of difficulty. Why does this happen? Because we are not knowing the status of that bank and their accounts. One fine morning they will say that we are going bankrupt. So that will not happen in a blockchain, because there is no one central person who controls all the account. Everybody will be controlling. Okay. This blockchain network is distributed, decentralized. That means everybody will have a control. Look at the right side here. It is a digital database of ledger that distributed among all the users. Now this person also has a copy of that. This person also has a copy. This also person. So any changes over here, no, actually be indicated everywhere. Okay. By that, what actually happens is each node is alerted for every transaction, which is not currently happening in a bank today. Maybe you have seen many cases like the bank will give thousands of crores to one businessman or one business company, and that creates a loss, all the loss for all the other people. So the idea is, in order to overcome the limitation in the centralized bank, I'm going for decentralization. This technology is given by blockchain. Look at this. Today it is like a regular bank today, where actually it's a controller. Maybe it's SBI or maybe it's Karnataka Bank or Canara Bank. Okay, now user has to log in and do that. And whenever whatever that he actually is created, whatever that he does the transaction, it is stored here. But suppose you use a blockchain here. Now look at that. He is a customer, he is a customer, and he is a customer, and there is no central. Everybody, is actually called a node, has their own copy of the account, and everybody can maintain it. So that means this fellow cannot actually destroy this one. This fellow cannot destroy this. This fellow cannot destroy it. So any number of people users may be there, but they will have independent, and they are actually true when they are protected from the others. But now it is possible, for example, this database can be corrupted. Hackers can actually attack this bank database and actually destroy it, or they can siphon out money and all. That may not happen here, because every user will be alerted on that. So this is the feature of my decentralized bank. Okay. So used on this actually, I will create what is called a ledger. Ledger in a banking term is nothing but a book where actually all your incomes, all your debits and credits are recorded. Okay. So distributed ledger technology is a digital system for recording the transaction. Transaction in business terms only means either you pay or you get it, or you pay and get an item. For example, if you go to a mall and you pay 100 rupees to buy an item, that's a transaction in which somebody is exchanging a product for his money. Or but suppose you go to bank and credit about 100 rupees, that means you are depositing that money. So that is called transactions, in which transactions and the details are recorded in multiple places. That means today it is stored in one particular bank in one particular database, whereas here actually it is stored in 3 or 4 different places. Okay. Unlike the traditional database, distributed ledgers have no central data store or administrative functionality. That means it is possible that bank can say from tomorrow my transaction is not happening, so for 8 days you will have a problem. Or if the banking server is not working, then you will not have money. So that will not happen in a digital ledger technology because it has a multiple places the location and the content is stored. Okay. So now let me define what is decentralized finance or DeFi. Decentralized finance is an emerging financial technology based on distributed ledgers. What is distributed ledger? I have mentioned I described it here. So what is distribution? That I have told it to you here. Okay. Distributed ledger, similar to those used in cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is actually a Bitcoin, as an example, where actually it doesn't belong to any country or it doesn't belong to any particular person or a particular company. Okay, so that kind of a technology is used in finance. The system removes the controls of bank and institution on having money. Today, actually, our money is controlled by bank. For example, say assume that tomorrow, for some reason, a bank like SBI or Karnataka says that we are not able to pay you your money which is deposited in an account. There is no way that we can help. Okay, it maybe take the government will involve, you can go to court and all, but it's a big problem. But if you are using a decentralized finance, it removes the control banks and institutions have on our money, financial products, financial services. For example, today, banks will fix their own interest rates. They will levy you different charges. For example, if you apply for a loan in a bank, no, they say pay 5,000 rupees for processing charges. So when you are taking a loan with because you don't have money, they are forcing you to pay some for the the processing fees. This control will be removed if you are using decentralized finance. So the reason why it actually works is like this. In a traditional transfer, you actually have intermediate. For example, if a person is sending money from here, it has to pass through all this and go there, and there's a destination. And these middle people, this called middlemen, they collect a lot of money because they're services. But whereas in a blockchain-based transfer, what actually happens is now there is an origin, there is no intermediate. It will go from here to here. And how does it happen? Because in a blockchain technology, each will have a wallet which is equivalent to your bank account, which actually will help you to transfer money. Okay. So now I'll come back to you and ask question. Are there any question? Okay. So Prem is asking, what are the important benefits of DeFi? So one of the fundamental benefit of DeFi is actually it creates a decentralized financial system where everything is transparent. That means you will know how your bank is operating on day-to-day basis. That means if it has 10,000 crore balance, you will see it on those. Otherwise, today's centralized bank like SBI and all, they may give loan to some company or 5 or 6,000 crores without you knowing that. That's the first advantage. Second advantage is actually since it works between P2P, any number of people can start and keep doing a financial service. For example, suppose there is a philanthropist, then actually he can start a DeFi institution and he can give a lot of scholarship money to somebody directly without actually charging anything. Third important thing is actually your options are increasing. For example, today, if you have to take bank money loan in India, then you can only approach Indian banks. You cannot approach an American bank or an Australian bank. But now, this decentralized finance companies actually operate on a blockchain. It is possible that you can get a loan from a person in Australia who is willing to give for a project that you are interested to do. So these are the three advantages. Have I answered your question, Prem? Okay. Then the second question, how does application work? That I will show you just another 2 minutes. Uh, uh, what is this? CEFI is better than DeFi. I am not sure what is the CEFI, but I will try to learn and get back to you. How is DeFi approach decentralized marketplaces? I will tell you. I will try to answer this question. So yeah. So the DeFi's, I mean, the decentralized finance goal is actually to reduce the transaction times. Many times you may have noticed that if you or your brother or somebody is studying in say America or Russia and all, or any country, so if they make a financial transfer of say some amount, it normally takes 5 days for you to get the money. Okay, so if they transfer on Monday morning, it will come to probably the Saturday or probably the next Monday. So in 5 days, you have to wait, and that is very difficult for any business. Secondly, for example, second example is, for example, if you are in the stock market and if you sell some shares and you need to get money, no, that does not happen within 3 or 5 days. Why does this delay happen? Not because of any reason. It is only because so many people are involved in it. Everybody will take their own time to complete the transaction that will come. So the first reason why we have DeFi is actually reduce the transaction times. That means if I make a transaction at 10 o'clock today, I should be getting the proceedings of that transaction within 5 or 10 minutes. That's not happening either in stock market shelling or okay. And second one, increase the access to financial services. The reason what it means is today I told you if you are in India, you can apply for banks loan in say 10 or 12 maximum banks depending on where you are. But suppose DeFi is created like Bitcoin or a Bitcoin, I mean, cryptocurrency, you can apply for loan or any financial assistance anywhere in the world. There may be one person, say in Norway, who is interested to help students who are doing engineering in India. Then you can directly take a loan or a financial assistance from him. So these are the two fundamental value proposition of DeFi. So, what are the features of DeFi? It eliminates the fees that banks charge you. For example, if I am sending you, say, 10,000 rupees, then if I want to send through a government, I mean, the bank DD, then I have to 50, I mean, 50 rupees for them, and then another 50 rupees for registered post. But if I am using DeFi, then I can directly send you without there is any cost on either side, my side or your side. And you hold your money in a secure digital wallet instead of keeping it in a bank. So today, I told you no. So suppose tomorrow bank is closed tomorrow, and if you have kept something in their locker and all like gold or cash, then if it is not open tomorrow, say on Saturday and Sunday, you cannot access it. But since on a cryptocurrency, it's there in this digital wallet, so that you can anytime you can actually operate it or use it. And third one is actually anyone with an internet connection can use it without needing approval. You can transfer funds in seconds and minutes. So that means, say, suppose you are traveling, say, in Australia tomorrow for some reason, unlike asking for a foreign exchange, for example, now you need an Australian dollar or American dollar or say Singapore dollar or even a Russian ruble, you don't have to do it. Since the currency is available on the internet and it is cryptocurrency, the digital financial organization, decentralized finance organization can help you to take that money easily. So the first one is to reduce cost. Second one is to keep all the access to your money and to speed up the whole process of making the transactions. So how does it actually work? This is accomplished by what we call peer-to financial network. That means there is nothing in between me and you. So I will pay you money directly, you will pay me directly. You will give money to your merchant directly, you will give money directly to your college. You don't have to take a government, sorry, bank DD or bank check to do that. Okay. So that is what the whole idea. So it is peer-to-peer, which actually I showed you earlier, right? This is peer-to-peer. So this is peer and this is peer. Okay. Okay. And the second one is actually from anywhere you have an internet connection, you can lend. That means if you have, say, your brother or sister staying in somewhere, actually you can lend that money immediately without no problem. Or you can trade. For example, you can buy anything anywhere available in the world, provided that vendor allows you to pay in digital currency. And borrow using software that records and verifies financial actions in distributed financial databases. So what actually happens is in blockchain, if you are operating on a cryptocurrency, then you have to create what we call a wallet. So wallet has a digital signature. So that would verify everything. For example, if you apply for a loan or a lending on a decentralized finance, by looking at your digital signature, it will make all kind of a KYC, kind of a, like know your customer, and it will lend you the money. And now the whole market is available, whole world is market for you. And there is a technology which actually does this called consensus mechanism, which will verify whether you are correct, or you are a real individual or not, or whether your digital signature is valid or not, or whether your the wallet is operational or not. So this is a fundamental thing. That means it will eliminate, it will enable peer-to-peer transaction, and then finally helps you to make all those transactions. So where was the question? Okay, Saurav, did I answer your question? Now, how does DeFi application work? Okay, anyway, before he answers that, the next question is actually, how does DeFi apply for decentralized marketplaces? Okay, so that's very simple. Okay, now that I have a ability to store a token on the decentralized finance, the finance is a general term. For example, in bank, finance is lending and giving. In scholarship, it is actually giving money for education. Even a hotel, it is a transaction. So no, in a marketplace, it can be used because marketplace is essentially a matter of transactions. Somebody will buy gold by paying the money. Now it is possible that you can use a decentralized finance to do that. Okay, that's one thing. So if there is a transaction in there, this one, you can actually use that. And the second question, Ganesh, have I answered your question? Okay. Okay, now what are Mustafa is asking, what are the various platforms for DeFi? Okay, see, DeFi, I mean, DeFi is a general term like a financial institution. Okay, so financial institution can be a bank also, or it could be a government also, or it could be a private lender also. So there are very, I mean, different platforms. But if you ask me what are this, there are numerous. For example, Bitcoin is one financial platform. Ethereum is another platform. Okay. Similarly, decentralized is another platform. So the platform is defined by the activities that happen there. Okay. So hope I actually have answered Mustafa. And the next question is, how important are smart contracts in DeFi? Okay, I think I will try to answer this question in next slide, but let me answer you here. Now let me go back to this one and I'll still answer you that. Okay. So now we look at this DeFi financial products. The peer-to-peer financial transactions are one of the core premises of the DeFi. A P2 transaction is where two parties agree to exchange cryptocurrency for goods and services without a third party. Okay. Now the important term is actually is agree here. Okay, that means sorry. Okay, the price actually agree. So if somebody agrees, then there has to be some kind of an agreement that should be written. So in a normal life, actually, these agreements are written on white paper or a bond paper. Okay. Now in the financial sector, the cryptocurrency, they are written on the blockchain. And in my yesterday's class, I mean, session, I told you there is a platform called Ethereum, which will help you to drive those transactions. So when I'm doing this transaction, for example, assume that you are taking a loan, then what you will be doing actually, you are entering an agreement with another person, and this agreement is written in what we call a smart contract. So smart contract is something like this. See, suppose you are taking an education loan as an engineering student, then 4 years you have to pay fees, and the bank will actually have to give that loan. So then suppose this is happening with a DeFi, then actually you will enter a contract which is called a smart contract, which says that at the beginning of every financial, I mean, education or academic year, the bank will lend this much amount to your college. So this is actually written in the smart contract. Similarly, they may say like after the completion of graduation for the next 5 or 15 years, you will be paying the reloan, you will be making the payment of your loan. Okay. So this is entered in an agreement, and that agreement is called smart contract. Okay. So have I answered your question? Where is this? Okay. Mr. Prem, how important are smart contracts? Because to implement everything related to finance is actually written in those smart contracts. Okay. Okay. Then what is this question? Is there any organization for what, Mustafa? You are asking? I'm not sure about. I'm not able to understand your question. Okay. Okay. So to fully understand how to get a loan in a centralized bank, I will tell you. Okay. See, now in regular market, actually you will go to a bank and do, but in a centralized finance, decentralized finance, you do this. Okay. In DeFi, you use a decentralized finance application that is called D app, that is DApps, okay, to enter your loan needs and algorithm that would match up your peers that you meet your needs. So that means now you have a wallet which is created on a blockchain and you actually go to a decentralized app. So these apps are created by people who are ready to do financial transaction. It could be a bank or it could be an NGO which want to give loans or some kind of a scholarship for a student, and they will develop their apps and put it on the web. Now you go to them and you actually apply for a loan. So depending on your need, for example, they say actually I'm an engineering student applying for a loan. So then an algorithm would match up your peers and meet your needs. For example, they will figure it out. Okay, if this person is actually applying for an education loan, and if he is an engineering student, maybe if he will need this much of amount for his education. So again, in India, it depends from place to place. Suppose you are studying in say Calcutta or Delhi, then you might need say about 20,000 rupees per month plus the fees. Or suppose you are traveling, staying in a place like, see, a rural or a semi-rural or a tier 3 town, then you may need 10,000. So this is actually figured out from the algorithm, would match up your peers and meet your needs. For example, so an average student in Mumbai might need this amount. That is, an average student is your peer. So they will figure it out, and then you would then need to agree to one of the lender's terms. Then he will say, okay, you are eligible for loan. Then actually there will be terms and conditions that you will understand. The transaction is recorded on the blockchain. Now that there won't be any papers that you submit to the bank, or there is no agreement that will happen. It will be recorded on the blockchain, and you receive your loan after the consensus mechanism verifies it. And now this amount actually you will get to your wallet. Okay. Then the lender can begin collection payments from you at the agreed upon intervals. I told you, if you are an engineering student taking a loan, then the prepayments will start after fifth year. That means 4 years of engineering, 1 year of job, then you start paying. So this is called agreed upon intervals. Okay. When you make a payment via your app, it follows the same process of the blockchain. Then the funds are transferred to the lender. That means assume that you have taken 4 lakhs loan for 4 years. Then you stay for 1 year working, and then you say that every month I am paying 10,000 rupees for next few years. Then that funds are transferred using this one. So it's a very simple idea. So any questions here? Okay. DeFi, is there any organization? No, no. It's actually, it's like a bank or a financial institution. Now, companies and countries will creating DeFis. There is no one particular organization for that. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. Okay. Well, let's move on to that. So one thing you should also remember is while taking control away from the third parties, decentralized finance does not provide anonymity. Of course, you are using a wallet with a digital signature, but then it is not that it is secret. That transaction is on a Bitcoin or a blockchain, but you are not anonymous. That means somebody will be knowing your name and other things. Especially when you are doing the financial transaction, the government and other things might want to know that. For example, when you apply for a loan or a DeFi and your college wants to know from where you applied for, then actually you have to share that. So it doesn't give you a complete anonymity, but certain degree of privacy it will give you certainly. Yeah, technically, DeFi is designed to use cryptocurrency. What is the back? I mean, the foundation of DeFi, it is cryptocurrency. But what is the foundation of cryptocurrency? It is blockchain. So blockchain are used. So cryptocurrency is used here. For example, if you are conducting a DeFi tomorrow, creating DeFi, maybe you'll use Ethereum's ETH or Bitcoin or any other financial, I mean, say cryptocurrency. Okay. So much of the concept involve stable coin. Stable coin is another kind of a Bitcoin that I will tell you tomorrow. Okay. So I told you it is a generic application, general technology. It can be used for decentralized exchanges. For example, today, if you go to America or some other country, then you have to collect, you have to buy their dollars, right? So now how do you do that? You go to a foreign exchange and pay your money in Indian rupees and get those dollars. Similarly, if you want to go to Singapore, you will do that. So similarly, for the cryptocurrency, there will be decentralized exchanges since they involve money, they are also can be used on a decentralized exchanges or lending platform. That means somebody may decide like only giving a lending or a loan kind of a thing. Okay, or derivative trading. Derivative trading is actually selling or buying share on a futuristic date. For example, I want to buy the share of this company on December 16th this year at this price. That is called derivative. So there are many applications which are possible on the DeFi. So DeFi lending is peer-to-peer. That means there is no central person involved in it. Okay. And remember that it doesn't mean that you won't have to pay any interest, because nobody will lend you money without interest. But that would be very different, because market pressures will make people to be very competitive in offer, and there won't be any processing fees involved. I told you, if you apply a bank loan or education loan, government bank will say that you've got to do all this. That means you have to apply for this. For applying, there is a processing fee and all. Okay. But it doesn't mean that you have many more options. That means you can get a loan from Karnataka or from Kerala or from Korea and anywhere, any other places. Okay. And finally, the future of DeFi, how will it actually go? Like blockchain or any internet and all, it is just starting now and it is going there. And what you should know is actually DeFi is a borderless transaction. So, but any times in the civilized world need to be monitored and managed and also to be taken care of. For example, suppose that there is a lender in India and some people from China, Korea, and all take loans, and if they don't return, how will you figure it out and how do you fight it out? So these kind of things are there. So it's a beginning stage of evolution. There are some infrastructural mishaps, hacks and scams are happening, and many a times actually there is a kind of a fraud also that would happen. But since it is a beginning, the hope is that governments and institutions will come out with the formula, regulations, and all. Then we will try to solve the problem in coming days. It is like, see, internet and other technologies. See, we did not have an information IT law in 2000. Then we started having that, and now everything is set correctly. So that means any transaction that happens on the internet today is valid and legally valid. Okay. And since the decentralized finance is open, that means anybody can actually operate from anywhere world. Then distributed nature, it is difficult to put into a legal thing. But the hope is that, like, we have solved the internet problems, we have solved the Facebook problems, we have solved the Twitter problems. This can also be solved very soon. Okay. And the last question they ask is Bitcoin is a decentralized finance? It is not finance, because it is just a currency. That means you exchange only those currencies. But if you start building an organization based on that, for example, tomorrow you create a decentralized finance where actually you give loan in terms of Bitcoins, that organization will become a decentralized finance. Okay. The summary is this: decentralized finance or DeFi uses emerging technology to remove the third parties in the financial inspection. Why we want to remove? Because they are costing us too much. The components of DeFi are stable coins, that is, I will tell you, software and hardware that enables development of application. The infrastructure for DeFi and resolution are still under development, and it will take some lot of time. Okay, smart content answer. Okay, then of DeFi. Okay. Okay, got it. So the question Mr. Saurav is asking is this: why DeFi is better than bank? For three reasons. Okay, maybe I think you didn't see the first presentation. Okay, Saurav, I will show you this. Okay, see, Saurav, look here. Today, the current centralized bank finance is very expensive. For example, if you have an ATM withdrawals, they will charge you. Okay, if you have a checkbook, they will charge you, and if you have sent a DD, they will charge you. So this actually is a big burden. If you're a businessman, if you're an ordinary man, if you're taking a DD once in 6 months, it doesn't cost you. But if you're involved in a lot of transactions, and even if you do on digital, for example, if you are using a Paytm and other things, if you do lot of transactions, they will charge you. In fact, the one of the famous applications of digital India is UPI, that is Unified Payment Interface, and now the finance minister says that she is going to charge us for every transaction. So that means it will cost you a lot. And I told you a number that in the last year, these banks have made 66,000 crores by charging us for different things. Okay, this is expensive. And to just a comparison, This is actually equal to approximately 25% of the Karnataka state budget. Okay. So for this reason, actually, what actually happens is now DeFi is better than bank from the cost perspective. But another reason also actually it gives you multiple options. For example, you can borrow a loan or lend a money from anywhere in the world because anybody will be willing to do that. Assume that tomorrow you are doing a project for which no bank is willing to pay you loan because they say this project may not work or this has no legal validity or some kind of a thing. Then for them, then actually you can go to a third party who is actually a decentralized finance and borrow money from them. Okay. See, these are the one. These are the three reasons why you should be going for DeFi. Saurav, have I answered your question? Okay, hopefully. So, any other questions, participants? So, if you can ask. I guess some people have joined now. Actually, I'm not sure why there's a late and all. But in case any questions, those who have joined of late can ask also me. So today, what we have done is actually we have explained a new kind of a organization created for handling financial aspects called financial institution. So we are creating this institution on a blockchain platform. Hence, we call it's called decentralized finance because it doesn't involve any third party for the transaction. I can send you money or I can borrow money from you directly without involving a third party banking system. So these are certain advantages because of its worldwide global access. And since the records which are created on the blockchain are immutable, that gives an advantage where actually nobody can break it later. Okay. If there are no questions, then actually I will invite you to join for my tomorrow session. Okay. Tomorrow I'll be talking about stable coins and CBDC. Okay. So now what we'll be doing tomorrow is actually now that blockchain helps you to create a cryptocurrency, there are many options for you to actually use those. I mean, you can acquire those currencies. Now I'll be talking about those cryptocurrencies. I mean, sorry, stable coins and all. So tomorrow 6:30 you can join me, and that's the session tomorrow. Please join that one, or you may also send some questions. Also send topics for future streams. Okay. Okay, Hari Krishna. Okay, see, I told you here, Hari Krishna, here is the answer. Okay. Okay. Now, Hari Krishna, look at this. See, in DeFi, you could use decentralized finance apps. Okay. So these apps are available on the internet. So that means now what actually happens is there are three platforms not really people would like to get connected. For example, it could be a desktop or a laptop. Then there will be an application which will you can help them and they will help you to download and use that. That's one. Or if you want to use mobile, you can do that. Even otherwise, actually there are connections where actually many of the apps can also be downloaded to your TV also and TV and you can actually download and use that. So since it's an app, it will be available for all the devices that is mobile, desktop, laptop, and it will be available for all the platforms like Apple platform or Android or Windows like that. Okay. Hari Krishna, I guess I have answered your question. Okay. Okay. This is my number. 636068790. You can keep sending me questions or whatever that you want to ask me. Tomorrow I will be talking about this one. I told you. tomorrow 6:30. You can join on me for that one, or if you have any specific question, you can ask me. But it looks like some people have joined a bit late and they have joined almost after 7 o'clock. But anyway, you can also access my recorded session over there.